Good evening. This is a regular City Commission meeting for the City of Largo. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask that if you have a cell phone, please turn it to silent or off so that we don't have any interruptions. Tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Oliver King from Restoration Ministries of Largo. And then if you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Good evening once again. I want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. And also thank you for your assistance that the City of Largo provides to my food pantry to be able to help out with the homeless. Thank you all again. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, our Creator of heaven and earth, our strength, our present help in the time of trouble, we take this moment, God, to say thank you for your many blessings and how you provide for us each and every single day. Father, you've blessed our city, our community, our families, our government. Thank you, God, for the protection that you provide to all of us that live in the city of Largo. In this meeting, we ask now for instruction and, again, understanding. In this meeting tonight, help us to hear, God, and to understand and to learn from one another. We ask, God, for your continued blessings over our schools, over our government, our officials, our families, and everyone that make up the great city of Largo. We offer up a continued prayer to the homeless and those that are struggling in this time and season. Again, God, we say thank you for all you've done. We give you honor and thanks. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Next, we will have one ceremonial item. Chief.
Good evening. On December 4th, 2024, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the Largo Police Department and the Homeless Outreach Team are one of the recipients of the 7th Annual Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Community Policing. Largo Police Officer Stephen Malandro, Officer Trevor Stamper, and Community Development's Homeless Outreach Specialist Todd Nutbrown were among 21 recipients and presented with the award in D.C. by Attorney General Merrick Garland. The team received their award in the category of Innovations in Community Policing. I appreciate the opportunity tonight to promote and showcase the results of this award. If I could have the recipients stand up along with Jody and Arrow. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to showcase the results of the city's efforts in addressing homelessness. The award, won by Officers Malandro, Stamper, and Outreach Specialist Nutbrown, is a reflection of the citywide effort to address homelessness. These efforts started several years ago and involved our mayor, commission, city administration, and several city departments. The goal is to address homelessness with a focus on finding resources and connecting those in need to those resources. Clearly, our efforts have worked and have been successful. The City of Largo's efforts have been acknowledged and awarded as a leading program by the Attorney General of the United States and the Community-Oriented Policing Office, COPS, of the U.S. Department of Justice. Additionally, they were recognized and awarded regionally earlier this year by the Tampa Bay Area Chiefs of Police Foundation. The city's program and the efforts of our team were recognized and picked from a nationwide pool of nominees. The city's efforts were chosen because they demonstrated exceptional dedication to strengthening trust, promoting community engagement, and enhancing public safety. The program fosters a safer and more inclusive community. Officers Malandro, Stamper, and Outreach Specialist Nutbrown are proudly wearing the medals awarded to them by the Attorney General of the United States. And the award provided by the Tampa Bay Area Chiefs of Police Foundation is proudly displayed at the police department. Additionally, I've asked Team Leader Sergeant Dulski, Community Development's Housing Manager Errol Woodard, and Housing Finance Specialist Jody White to stand next to their team. Unfortunately, the award itself was only given to the front level staff, but I'm confident saying that the entire team is worthy of praise for the success of the homeless program. Clearly, the acknowledgement and award by the Department of Justice reflects that the City of Largo's efforts in relation to addressing homelessness is leading the way and an example for others to follow. It reflects that our efforts are thought out and purposeful, and our intentions are to connect those in need to the services that can help them most. Thank you for giving me a moment again to recognize our team, and if we can all get a round of applause for them, I appreciate it. I did promise that Officer Stamper would have a moment. Thank you very much. You guys get a chance to look at the mountains? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Smile.
Perfect, I got it, thank you.
Congratulations to the whole team, great job. Next, we'll have citizens comment. If you'd like to speak about something on the agenda outside of the consent docket, please wait until the item comes up. Do we have any cards this evening?
Yes, I have 2 cards. First is Matt Postine.
Evening all, Matt Faustini, 1015 Lake Palms Drive, Largo. Seeing some news coverage last night and from the last 3 storms, I think we can all admit we got some expensive infrastructure work ahead of us. And we're at an inflection point as a city. Do we choose the path of higher taxes, higher rates, or do we choose the path of growth and redevelopment to pay for these upgrades? Hopefully tonight we're going to take one step in our work ahead in that direction. What are our big chances to work with our partners, though, to make real change? East Bay over the next 3 years gives us this opportunity. FDOT will be spending $3.7 million on improving East Bay and Roosevelt right here in Largo. East Bay from Highland to US 19 will have protected bike lanes. It will have 8 to 10 foot sidewalks. It will make overall multimodal transit along the corridor more safe, accessible, and affordable. We need city policy, county, we all have to be working together on this. Then in addition to this, we have PSTA working on a huge opportunity for Largo with their new network map that would move 15-minute service onto East Bay from Ulmerton. We have a chance to create an East Bay Community Redevelopment District to focus us on this mission. We have a chance to focus density and development on this major corridor and focus on transit-oriented development, which aligns with our city goals, our county goals, our state goals, and our federal goals, which is why we have this funding opportunity in front of us right now. So I urge this commission not to miss this opportunity, especially with so many players involved between the Florida Department of Transportation, Ford Pinellas, PSTA, the county, our city staff. It's important that this commission uses all of its influence on all of our boards to secure these vital projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Greg Gardner.
Democracy only works when the people affected by policy have a chance to engage in the democratic process. And so when Ordinance 2024-46 rolled out, no one knew that it was going to work because it was crafted and hidden, even in the workshop meeting, and that's by design. I had inside information about the ordinance coming out, and so did a few other people, so they gave us a leg up. But even at that, it is equivalent to having blindfolders on, being at the starting line, waiting for the gun to go off, which is when Diane uploads it on Friday, and you got 4 days. But if you work Monday and Tuesday, you don't have 4 days, you just have the weekend. And I worked 20 hours to muster democracy. So it was a marathon. And that's all I had. And Matthew Faustini did the same thing. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch it play out. Because we had a lot of support here. And each one of you played a role, including the former commissioners. Jamie did a really good job, and he should be noted. But it couldn't be any better. It just was absolutely beautiful. And some of you get an A+, but for the most part, everyone gets an A. And when it came to the second reading, no one knew about it. I just happened to be here. And but what was interesting about the process is we were able to establish real stakeholders with names and faces. So that's Hydrate to Homeless and Pastor Keith, who can't attend us tonight because his wife is in hospital. And it went to Cheryl Reed. That process couldn't be any better. It was beautiful. She did a great job. And then from Cheryl Reed, we established an actual third stakeholder. That's Dulski behind me. So we established a name and a face. And Dulski produced a nugget. He wanted 5 people or more, which is fine if he's a stakeholder and we know who it is. Here's the nugget. On the second go-around, I just happened to be here. I came up and challenged his nugget. Again, everyone played the process too good. It was beautiful. And I just wanted to share that I enjoyed this go-around to see democracy play its hand, and that you guys did a fantastic job. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did get a third card for Jennifer Haithcock.
Good evening.
Oh,
How's everybody doing?
I have to get used to wearing glasses. This is going to be a short and sweet one. I collect Pinellas Press, and it talks about the fate of City Hall is up to the voters this fall, of whether they should sell or not. And then the one after that was Regulating Kindness. Largo battles over help for homeless. I just wanted to say that I would like to see the use of the old City Hall of Largo to be used more towards shelters, housing, affordable housing, and other unhoused services and resources. Thank you.
thank you.
That's all the cards.
Thank you. Next is consideration of tonight's agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next, we'll consider the minutes from the regular meeting of December 3rd, 2024.
Move approval. Second.
Any changes or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Could I hear the consent docket, please?
Item 4, appointment of James Angles as a member of the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Advocacy Board. Item 5, appointment of Andrea Gillot as a member of the Finance Advisory Board. Item 6, appointment of Michelle Paulson as a member of the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Advocacy Board. Item 7, reappointments of members to various advisory boards whose terms will expire in November 2028. Item 8, authorization to purchase computer equipment from CDWG in accordance with Sourcewell Contract Number 121923 in the amount of $523,200. Item 9, approval of a Pinellas County drainage easement on City of Largo property located at the wastewater reclamation facility on 150th Avenue North. Item 10, authorization to enter into a 60-month agreement with WOW Business for 10 GB citywide internet service and point-to-point Ethernet connection service for the Environmental Services Plant, Southwest Recreation Center, Largo Golf Course, Fire Station 38, Fire Station 40, Fire Station 42, and Fire Station 43 from WOW Business at the estimated total cost of $609,000. Item 11, award of scope and fee to Pannoni and Associates Incorporated for design work for pavement work plan year 1, RFQ number 24-Q-798 in the estimated amount of $944,800. Item 12, authorization to purchase renewal of support for network firewalls in accordance with Omnia contract number 01-154 from Datafreed Incorporated in the estimated amount of $165,000. Item 13, authorization to piggyback on the City of St. Petersburg Agreement, IFB-24-081, for source-separated recyclables processing with Recycling Services of Florida Incorporated with a potential credit of $85,984.64. Item 14, approval of request to enter into agreements with local fire districts for use of Largo's training facility.
Thank you. You've heard the consent docket. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent docket without commission discussion, including staff background provided in the commission packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I would like to point out, I think Mr. Angles may here, James Angles for the Recreation, Parks, and Arts. Thank you for your service to our advisory board. Andrea Gillot, I don't think she's here. I know she's moving over from the Code Enforcement Board to the Recreation, to the Finance Advisory Board. Michelle Paulson is here. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your appointment to the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Advisory Board. And then we've also got Kathleen Denardi, who I don't think is here, for the Planning Board, and Eddie Dickey for the Community Development Advisory Board. Thank you all for giving back to our community. Certainly appreciate it. Next up is item number 15, ordinance number 2024-47.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. My name's Sergeant Ryan Dolsky, and then this is Cheryl Reed right here, Director of Community Development, and we're here to talk about Ordinance 24-47. So I thought we'd start a little bit with the history of our homeless program here in Largo, since we do have 2 new commissioners. So welcome, gentlemen. We've been going over our homeless program since about 2021. The police department has had a homeless specialist that was from an outside entity since 2019. That was a paired principal riding with one of our officers. That was not working. So we had a series of meetings, actually a lot of meetings with the mayor, some commissioners, city staff, and we came up with a program that obviously what you saw earlier was the result, a award-winning homeless outreach program that has helped. My current numbers are 596 people since last July, and those are people with names, faces, dates of birth, and no repetitive names in that. So those are all individuals, and that was actually yesterday's number, so I'm not sure if Todd Nutbrown has added any more to that list in the last day, but he gets about 800 phone calls a day. So we believe that homelessness is rare, brief, and one time. We do not believe that anyone should be out on the street living in the bushes and behind a business. Our mission is to address homelessness proactively and compassionately through policy alignment and a services first, enforcement second approach that prioritizes public health and safety. Since 2021, really, and it was 2023 that we got the American Recovery Act funds to be able to go through with this program. We created an additional sworn officer position, which is Officer Stamper right there. He added to Officer Melandro that was already in place. We were able to add a civilian staff member, which is Specialist Nut Brown right there with the same haircut as I do. We added some money from ARPA for rental and down payment assistance programs. We contracted with the Homeless Empowerment Program up there in Clearwater, where we have 20 beds available for the city of Largo, homeless only. So no other cities or entities can take from those beds. We keep those pretty much full at all times. We have 16 male beds and 4 female beds. We've created a lot of partnerships with Catcher's Mitt. We've worked with PAR. We've worked with many other agencies to try to get people that mental health treatment and substance abuse treatment that we can to get them off the street into that program. And then what Specialist Nut Brown does is he actually creates a seamless transition from that program right into a homeless shelter so that they don't fall back into their drug use or alcohol use before they get housed, which is an amazing feat that we've been able to work with. We did pass 2 ordinances dealing with outdoor sleeping and camping to align with the state law that was passed and that will take effect on January 1. And then we have a lot of intergovernmental partnerships for Safe Harbor. They just got a large grant as well for 12 new case managers, which is fantastic for us. So I thought that was kind of our program in a nutshell and all of the things that we have done in the past year and a half, 2 years with that grant funding. And then this ordinance is kind of the last stage of that.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. The purpose of this is really, as we've said, to promote the public health, safety, and general welfare for all of our residents. And so let's talk a little bit again about what were the problems that we were seeking to solve. We were looking to coordinate the use of our parks by preventing uncoordinated and unsanitary provision of food, drinks, or other personal care items in public areas. We were concerned about public safety and wanted to ensure that we were preventing large and uncontrolled gatherings of people that we were perhaps not aware of, that our fire department, EMS, and police were not aware of would be assembling. The desire to promote the use of existing sanitary and safe locations for individuals in our community if they are food insecure or housing insecure to be able to access food pantries, churches that are providing services, shelters that may be able to assist them, et cetera, and also to have some financial accountability should there be any damage during events that might take place in our public parks. So the first time that the commission saw this ordinance was back in June of this year. And at that time, there was extensive public comment during that particular city commission meeting. And the direction of the commission at that time was to send staff back to coordinate with some of those individuals that had come out to speak in regards to the proposed ordinance. And so based on that coordination with those homeless advocates, we did propose changes to the ordinance. That included limiting the scope of the ordinance, eliminating the requirement for any payment of permit fees for groups that would be seeking to serve individuals in public spaces. We also eliminated restrictions on the permit frequency that had been in the very first early proposed draft of the ordinance. And then we also sought to continue to engage with our nonprofit partners, including Hydrate the Homeless and Victor Newman Ministries, and I think both of those organizations are represented here this evening. So we're happy to have them here with us tonight. So I'd like to just clarify for the audience, as well as anyone who might be watching from home, what is not changing, and that is any of the current practices that our churches and nonprofits have with regards to food pantries and/or food distribution at their locations. This ordinance does not govern that in any way, and we're not, proposing any additional permits or requirements for those type of existing activities that our nonprofit sector and religious community may be providing. What is changing is that we are proposing to propose an outdoor social service event permit in our public parks, with the exception of Largo Central Park and the city's nature parks. And the reason why those parks are being included is, in terms of the nature parks, it's the impact that can happen to the animals if there are large gathered groups in those spaces. Also, Largo Central Park is the city's busiest park, and there are some concerns about the potential to impact other individuals that might be trying to use the park simultaneously. So we wanted to take that into consideration. But I did want to clarify, and I don't think we had the exact number last time we presented, but there would be 10 other additional city parks where these type of social service events could be hosted, and we feel like we would have the staff resources to ensure that those could be done, those events could be held safely. The proposed ordinance does require a outdoor social services event permit. We would be requesting applicants to apply online on the city's new permitting software platform for that. As we mentioned earlier, there would be no charge for that special event permit, even though the city does have other special event permits that we do have a charge for. And then based on feedback that was provided at the last City Commission hearing of this proposed ordinance, we have limited the scope and we have defined the group size as 20 individuals or more. And so just again, to clarify in terms of this would be unpermitted outdoor events that provide foods, goods, or services conducted on city parks, including the parks. So we would, again, ask for those organizations to apply for a permit to provide that service. And if there were happen to be violations, the enforcement mechanism would be that a police officer or a code officer would engage with the group that was hosting the event, probably on a second or third violation of the ordinance. Obviously, we would always, as we always do, seek to educate and inform first. But if there were repeated violations, then we would have an enforcement mechanism that would be built into the ordinance. So again, just to clarify, there would be no permit fees required. Staff would not have any discretion in terms of whether they could approve this or not. So if the application met all of the criteria that's outlined in the ordinance as it's currently proposed in front of you, that permit would be approved. There would be no consideration given to what was the religious organization or what were they intending to provide, anything like that. There is a requirement for sanitary facilities, and that's related to the Florida Department of Health does have a temporary food service event application, so we would be requesting that any group seeking to sponsor this type of event in one of the city parks that they, along with their application to the city for a special event permit, we would be asking them for proof that they had applied for the temporary food service event from the Florida Department of Health. And that is really a requirement that the Florida Department of Health has that addresses temporary food events and as well as like mobile food trucks and that kind of thing. The permit, we would request that the permits be properly displayed. There, you will see in the ordinance a requirement that the organizations have basic liability insurance, and we estimate that the cost of that coverage for a one-time event would be anywhere between $63 or $200, depending on the organization. if it was a particularly large group that was being invited to one of the public parks, then there may be additional expenses that would need to be covered to compensate either the police department, fire department, or EMS. But I think for some of the sizes, that probably would not be a requirement. That would really be if we were talking about hundreds of people being invited to an event. So again, just to remind you, November 19th was the last time that the commission saw a first reading of this ordinance. At that time, the proposed social service event was defined as 5 individuals. At your direction and through your amendment of the first reading, the event in the ordinance is now defined as 20 persons. And that is in front of you this evening. At this time, I would like to turn the presentation over to Attorney Alan Zimmett so that he can discuss some other potential additional changes for your consideration. At the conclusion of that, staff would be available for any comments or questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Based upon the feedback that and information and some comments that we received since the first reading, we wanted to propose 3 changes to the ordinance. And I've provided to you each a copy of the ordinance with those changes in track changes in Word so that you can see really what the changes are. None of these changes change the substantial purpose of the ordinance, so you could adopt these changes with the ordinance on second reading tonight. I've also provided you proposed motions if you wish to adopt this ordinance as with these amendments. I'll go over the 3 amendments. First Amendment designates a time frame for the Development Controls Officer to complete her review of an application, to make it clear that she has 7 business days to complete that review. As you might recall, the ordinance requires an application to be made at least 14 days prior to the day of an event. So we wanted to make it clear that that review, again, is just a determination that all the information that's required and set forth in the ordinance is included in the application. There's no review based upon the applicant, who they are, any kind of basis on the speech that they may intend to provide, the type of speech, or any of that. No, it's totally content neutral. Second, there was some concerns raised about the Development Controls Officer's ability to waive the requirements of insurance and the indemnification. And upon discussion, staff believe that really that should be applicable for all events, 20 or more people, especially in light of the information that we have with regard to the cost of the insurance. And then finally, we're proposing to delete the language that related to the sanitary facilities being provided. And the reason we're really doing that is because that is duplicative of the requirement that they comply with all health codes. So the sanitation facilities that are required for these events are addressed in the county and state health codes. So there's really no need for that language. It just duplicates the requirements that's already in the ordinance. So those are the 3 changes that we would be suggesting the commission consider. And again, if you want to propose those amendments, you have the 2 motions there to amend the ordinance and then to move the ordinance as amended for approval.
Ordinance number 2024-47, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the Largo Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 21, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places by creating Section 21-83, regulating outdoor social service events at public parks, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
Yes, I have 7 cards. First is Dylan Dames.
Hello, Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dylan Dames. I cover Pinellas County as a community organizer for Faith in Florida, a statewide solidarity network focused on housing and economic challenges. So I grew up in the Progressive National Baptist Convention, which is fancy for like churchy church, like 5-hour services and old ladies with candies in the purse, all of that stuff. And then, you know, the pure and faultless religion that we talk about in James 1 required that we go after orphans and widows and feed people and house people in tough times. That was required then, and all the ways in which my faith has evolved and been applied to helping impacted people, it still applies now. As long as there are institutions standing in the way of people's housing and meals, we have orphans and widows to look after. As long as we have 15,000 vacant units in the county and only 2,000 homeless people, we have orphans and widows to look after. And as food deserts expand across the South and grocery prices rise and green space and fruit trees give way to high-rise condos, we still have orphans and widows to look after. Largo holds a very special place in my heart as a cornerstone of performance arts programming and generational inclusivity and all this stuff. And up until now, I'd never heard anything scary come from this commission. But today, I think you have the opportunity to challenge and strike down a discriminatory and I think cruel ordinance, or you could vote it through. And if the latter happens, I want to ask you, who will this help? How will this ordinance benefit folks that are housing insecure or people who benefit from food drives and other public distribution events? We talk a lot about, public safety and health and some of the discussions and the homeless programming that we talk about here today. But if you ask Faith in Florida or any of the homeless folks that we organize, how they see homeless people getting healthy and safe is through bold, non-market housing solutions that rapidly rehouse them. Their answer wouldn't be, a bureaucratic wall between them and their next hot meal. And then I also worry about, the enforcement mechanisms for something like this. The language of code enforcement and law enforcement, and that worries me because what will the officers physically do? What does that enforcement actually look like on a day-to-day level? And even if we leave the frame of housing insecurity and look at impacted residents in general, what happens when storms come and people run out of power? What Wi-Fi is Faith in Florida going to use to apply for a permit to feed people that are in need? So I encourage you to think critically about this and strike it down today. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nick Carey.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. My name is Nick Carey. I'm a community organizer here in Pinellas County. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors for the Homeless Leadership Alliance of Pinellas. I want to make clear that my comments tonight are not any indication of an official position from HLA Pinellas, but instead a personal reflection of the hundreds of conversations I've had with our unhoused neighbors over the past several years. The overwhelming takeaway from my conversations is that our unhoused neighbors just want to be treated like humans with dignity. So I was deeply alarmed when I learned of this ordinance that would further dehumanize people experiencing homelessness by placing similar regulations in public parks to the signs that direct visitors do not feed the wildlife. So I ask, what problem is this ordinance aiming to solve? Who is it aiming to protect or to help? I see it written in the ordinance that congestion in public parks might be the problem. If that's the case, it seems curious the biggest park with the most open space, Largo Central Park, contains a blanket ban. Not to mention the fact that Central Park is directly next to the library where many of our unhoused neighbors access services and gather there. I also worry about how you plan to enforce the ordinance. Are we going to use law enforcement's valuable time to bust up a child's birthday party without a current fireproof certificate? Are we gonna have family reunions without the proper permit be cited? or will it be waited until that same family goes and feeds less fortunate people than themselves? Furthermore, what does this ordinance do to address the greatest needs of Largo's residents, both housed and unhoused? Skyrocketing costs of living on essential goods like housing and food. This does nothing to address that. We don't need more laws that push our most vulnerable population to the margins and prevent us from the oldest and most basic form of community, sharing a meal. I consider it a practice of my faith to position myself alongside people ignored and pushed aside. There are over 2,000 Bible verses about taking care of the poor. One of the most common comes from Matthew 25. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for me, you did, or whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me. It's for these reasons that this law is not only ineffective, but quite frankly unconstitutional. All of you should have received a letter from Southern Poverty Law Center explaining the many ways in which this ordinance falls short, if for no other reason than the legal and public reputation implications of passing this law. I urge you to reconsider. Please vote no.
The next speaker is Jennifer Haithcock.
Hello again. My name is Jennifer Haithcock. I am let me find my page again. I'm a resident of Largo. I've been a resident of Largo since November of 2023. I was homeless from August 7th, 2021 to November 14th, 2023, between Largo and Clearwater, because I moved from North Carolina to get away, start a fresh life, was raised in a toxic family with sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it. Things I also believe that law enforcement could spend their more time on the, ST than the homeless. I know that's an uncomfortable truth, and I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. Now that I'm no longer homeless, actually before I was homeless, sometimes I go by my papers and sometimes I do a little bit of both. I went to, before I got my voucher, I went to city council meetings at City Clearwater because of my situation, or my experience at Safe Harbor. So now that I do have a home, I am a member of the Pinellas County Continuum of Care. I'm a committee member of the Lived Experience Advisory Committee, which you all should have one of these. And actually, the original, which I'm also going to be a part of the Advocacy Committee, where it says what is the continuum of care, and it says that the Pinellas County COC is a diverse group of stakeholders. That's actually a turnoff to a lot of regular people, and the original actually stated individuals, service providers, government officials, and businesses. So I hope to have that changed as well. And when it comes to E15, I just feel it's inhumane and interferes with good-hearted people from helping those unhoused, dealing with mental issues, and networking with those that could direct them to services and resources. And I ask that you vote no on E15. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Greg Gardner.
Thank you, Nick, Dylan, and Jennifer. So is Largo a democracy? And that is really easily answered how Woody Brown asked Cheryl Reed 2 questions. 1, are you in contact with the stakeholders? She said yes, mostly true. Did you contact the stakeholders? She said yes. Well, they were contacted 4 hours on the day of, so 4 hours before. So that's not true. But here's the kicker. Here's where you summarize it. So Woody Brown goes, oh, so since no one showed up, then I guess everyone's okay with this, which is a complete fallacy. So leading question to either a half-truth or a fallacy. In this case, a complete fallacy. And this is 10 out of 10 times you do this in workshop meetings. Always to support a narrative that you want that favors what you want. Largo's not a democracy at all. It'll thwart democracy at every attempt, from the workshop meeting to how these played out. No one's ever notified, and it's meant to be that way. This is a big no, because, here again, Alan Zimmett, and of course, the city manager and Woody play a hand in this, the prohibitions were added. Here we go again. Let's play ball. Let's throw it back and forth. Let's keep adding garbage in here. And because of that, this is a no vote. Honesty. Democracy has got to be honest, and it's got to be dialogue. And dialogue didn't exist with these additions. And the other thing I'd really like to know is who voted, not who voted 4 days from now. I want to know who votes. Raise your hand, yes or no. But this is a no. Largo is an aristocracy, and it's a kleptocracy when you really study it and examine it. This goes all the way back to Henry Schubert. John's picking it up quite well. But the kingpin here is Allen. More deceit, more fraud on the people. We don't need this. It's been watered down. Dolsky, he displayed a lot of class in this too. He gets a lot of credit. Don't blame Cheryl for this at all. She's used. And it doesn't matter if it's Cheryl, it doesn't matter if it's any director. They get used by management. She did her job, she did it well. Dolsky did his job, and he did it very well. This is a no vote on principle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Carla Mogan.
Good evening. I'm Carla Mogan. I am a resident of Largo for 26 years, and also I represent Hydrate the Homeless. We have been working with this ordinance for a while now, and I do want to express that we do appreciate being included in the process. We have felt heard. We do feel like we had a play in this. However, as this new ordinance comes out, or the revised ordinance, it's a little difficult to understand. You've defined outdoor social service event as any outdoor event at which food is distributed to 20 or more members of the general public at no or very little cost. Is this going to affect little Susie, who's having a birthday party and her 35 friends? Because they're going to have cake and ice cream. That's food. So they're going to have to get a permit. They're not going to be able to do it at Largo Central Park because you can't have a group of 20 people having free food. And it says, or low cost. I don't think we're allowed to sell food at the park. That's something for a food vendor with a permit. So if this passes, what's going to happen? Right now, I can go online at largoparks.com and I can rent the big shelter for 50 or less people and sign that contract. It says nothing about food or anything, and I can have 50 people there. Is this ordinance going to change that? Is it going to change the whole way Largo City Park is used? Because by this definition, it sounds like it's going to affect everybody. So, and also, I just want to know, why is the city treating our own house citizens in this way? Because clearly this isn't for house people, because they have food. They can go to the food bank where they can get things they can cook later. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, because you may not have ever been homeless before, but the food banks are generally set up for people who have kitchens, places to cook. If you're homeless, you might get some lettuce or something. I don't know what you're going to do with that. I just would like to ask that the city just gets rid of this ordinance in its entirety. I don't know what the purpose was. It kind of seems like we want to limit a group of people from enjoying the things you want everybody else to enjoy.
Next speaker is Pastor Michael Carter.
Good evening, Commissioner, city staff, and residents. My name is Pastor Michael Carter. I'm the pastor of Victory Fellowship Church in Largo and the director of Victor Newman Ministries. Grateful for the opportunity to address you tonight to discuss how all the organizations represented today can be a resource to the city of Largo in tackling the critical challenges of homelessness and substance abuse. With all due respect to the suggestion that homelessness is a temporary one-time event, I've been serving some of the same members of the community who are not homeless people. They're people. They're people just like each and every one of us. They don't happen to have a place of residence due to a variety of reasons and significant factors, some concomitant with drug abuse and addiction, mental health issues. But I've seen some of these same people for 10 years, over a decade. Because the fact of the matter is that here in Florida, there are plenty of resources where they can have mail directed, they can get a meal, they can take a shower, they can change clothes, but true commitment to transforming their lives, those resources are few and far between. So I'm here today. There's no single solution, but I do believe that partnerships with faith-based organizations, nonprofits, and local governments can be instrumental in making a lasting impact. So I'm here to offer Victory Fellowship and Victor Newman Ministries as committed partners in addressing these challenges. We're eager to align with all the city's initiatives. However, we must also acknowledge significant challenges due to Largo's restrictive zoning laws. These regulations have created hardships that have limited our ability to fully serve and utilize our property as a resource for the community for almost a decade as well. We have space. We've got the infrastructure that can be utilized for temporary shelter. As I understand, there are no cold weather shelters in the Largo area. I understand that the city of Largo makes Clearwater a resource, but what is Largo doing? We want to help with Largo. We want to utilize our space and the infrastructure for shelter, for expanded food distribution and support programs to help those in recovery, and put that on record. Oh, I got 25 more seconds, yes. Whew, how can I keep my composure when all sorts of thoughts fall for exposure? So I encourage that the city of Largo revisit some of the zoning laws and offer greater flexibility for organizations. Largo could definitely unlock powerful community-driven solutions for both homelessness and substance abuse, and we're here to help. We want to all be a resource, and so we're here for you. Thank you.
Next speaker is Matt Faustini.
Good evening, Matt Faustini, 1015 Lake Palms Drive, Largo. I originally wasn't planning on speaking on this. Couldn't agree more with Pastor Mike, and Housing for All. Hopefully our next agenda item is going to address some of those concerns, but I think a great suggestion would be also Faith in My Backyard. Allowing faith leaders, St. Pete has shown a visionary approach in allowing churches and faith communities to use land to help house people in innovative ways. And Mayor Welsh has provided leadership on that, and we should look to that leadership and follow. The reason why I came up here at the end of the day is I don't think the compromise is horrible. I think we've come a long way, but while we're in this Christmas season, I thought of the Sermon on the Mount and what Jesus tells us. And he gives us a good test for testing good teachings from bad teachings. By their fruit, you will recognize them, he says. Every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Good teachings, according to Jesus, have good consequences. This ordinance doesn't help in those goals. I believe we have the tools necessary to deal with this problem. I think Commissioner Lauser, Commissioner DeBreezy, Commissioner Smith brought up great points about how this is a duplication of government, how we have the tools. City staff at the last meeting, I believe the parks director even said this is something that only happens every 13 to 16 months, I believe was the number. I could be wrong in there, but it was not a yearly occurrence. And now with these added changes that I haven't even been able to see, I'm definitely not comfortable with it. So I would just urge this commission to vote no. Let's just get rid of this. We don't need it here in Largo. Let's celebrate the Christmas spirit by making sure we're giving to our fellow neighbors and making sure that we're supporting each other in these times. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the cards.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, discussion? Commissioner Holmes.
Ryan, what was the whole idea behind this in the first place?
So the whole idea is to start conversations to make sure people are going to get services where they can get services. So I think last commission meeting, I said that Central Park is not a place for someone to receive homeless services. They can't receive mental health treatment at Central Park. They can receive mental health treatment at a homeless shelter. So that's what we're urging folks to do, is to go seek services, food, healthcare, mental health, programs, all that kind of stuff can be received at a shelter, which is what the whole program that we've developed is designed to do, is to get them, anyone, to go to get help where they can get help and services.
All right, someone's in Central Park, and you've just talked about is very benevolent. How can they find out where to go to get these services? Is there some central, an information poll somewhere that they can just go check the poll and see, well, where can we go to get this stuff done? How do they find out?
Well, there's a whole bunch somebody mentioned the library, I'm not sure which speaker, but all of our information's at the library at the front desk. Todd's card, information on how we can develop services and all that kind of stuff. As for an information poll on Central Park, there isn't one. But all the information's listed online on how to get a hold of Todd, how to get a hold of us.
I believe it was Reverend Mike. I would like to know, he can't come up and answer this question, but when you've got a couple of these churches out there who are doing this with, great diligence, what are they doing to spread the word out there? There is one big reason that this thing is being done the way it's being done, and it's basically Central Park is designed for the kids and for families to go out there, and there was always a problem with that area of the city, and including downtown Largo, where some of it is trash, where they finish up with a sandwich or whatever it is and they just throw the stuff down. That's not exclusively to homeless. There's a lot of people who are extremely careless. But a lot of this was, we're trying to have a nice place. We don't want to become, the east side of Los Angeles. That's the whole point here is, no one's being segregated here. No one's being, you're the individual and we don't want to have this around here. you're up here, you're playing Solomon right now, so we're gonna cut that baby in half somehow. You know, you can't have these two opposing things here, but then you gotta come back to the middle of the road on the compromise on it. If these people need the services, and there's no doubt they do, okay? Well, how do they find out about this stuff? And also, I don't want to get into something that this just went on in a local neighborhood, that because of the storms, Pinellas Hope was closed. And they took all the people from Pinellas Hope, including the pets, which I was surprised at that. I didn't know they had dogs down in Pinellas Hope.
That changed over from Pinellas Hope, and when they left and the Salvation Army came in.
Red Cross.
I'm sorry, the Red Cross. I'm sorry, I misspoke. The Red Cross, when they did a step-down shelter from Ross Norton to St. Cat's, that was after Pinellas Hope had left. So Animal Services came to St. Cat's after Pinellas Hope had left the property and gone back to theirs.
Well, I mean, I'm just referring to the fact that I heard from some of the neighbors that said, you know, do you know what's going on over there? And I said, well, no, I don't. And I said, I suggest you take it up with the good Monsignor. You know, that was just my input. Well, for now, that's enough from me.
Thank you, Commissioner Lauser.
So thank you guys for coming back. There's definitely no lack of work that's been done and good work. I still have some of the same reservations as far as, you know, we talk about we don't want you know, large groups of people causing a disturbance, throwing litter on the ground. There's already ordinances against disturbing the peace, littering. So in my opinion, I think that this is, I understand what it's going for. I think it opens the city up to litigation. I did have a talk with the city attorney, and it is written better than some of the other ordinances that are currently being challenged or have already been overturned. But it doesn't mean that somebody's not going to challenge this one. So is it really worth a protracted legal fight over an ordinance that I think we can apply some other rules, and you can catch people littering in the park, or a large group of people, they're going to be doing something else wrong. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeBreezy.
Thank you. I'll be quick. This is somewhat repetitive to what Commissioner Lauser said. I voted no on the first reading and made sure to take the time to talk to the city manager and others about the need for this. And I'm still where I'm at, but I want to commend staff. From the start, you all have worked to get this to a place where you think is going to be in the right way. You've listened to public feedback. You've listened to stakeholders. That warms my heart. Thank you for doing that. Whatever the outcome is, please, don't be disheartened. That is what I'd love to be able to see from the staff, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a question, and this was brought up by a couple of speakers, and the question is, what problem does this attempt to solve? Like, what? I mean, we did talk about like the origins of this and how we got to where we are, but what are some things that have happened in the park? And I think I understand the nature preserve. I don't think you necessarily want people handing out food in the nature preserves either way. Whether it's, I mean, I don't think we have birthday. Do we have birthday parties in the? I'm not sure. But in Central Park, what are we aiming to prevent? What are some things that have happened that we would like to not happen again?
You want to answer or you want me? Go ahead. So we've had some group feeding type of situations at Central Park where I think Taylor Kahn was here the last time, and he talked about some of the raw food that was put in trash cans, that kind of thing. And those are kind of secondary to our proactive approach. So this is a proactive ordinance designed to, like I said earlier, to start those conversations with folks that are experiencing homelessness, to get them to not seek getting fed in a park. I'll take Central Park out of it, and a park. There's an old Chinese proverb that says you give a man a fish, you feed him for the day, you teach him to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. And I think that holds true in this situation. So it's a proactive approach. The police department isn't concerned about the number 5 or 10. Our goal is to promote the awareness of where people should go in order to get food properly and on a routine basis. And I think that's the biggest thing is a routine basis. If a group comes out and feeds folks for one meal on a Monday, what happens on Tuesday and what happens on Wednesday and how are they going to get food on Thursday? And so that's what my group is designed to do, is to get those folks to those shelters and get those services on a daily and consistent basis. And I think that's what it's designed to do, is be proactive in that approach and make sure that services are being where they should be, is at a shelter or something like that.
Right, and I certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate you talked a little bit earlier thing, or it was talked about the history of our attempts to help homeless people in our city from 2019 and then 2021 and some changes, and I think those efforts have come a long way. And I think that's the biggest challenge that every now and then we'll get calls from parents that like, how come you let homeless people in the park? Like, well, because they're people, right? And they're hanging out in the park. And as long as they're not doing anything wrong, it's just like anybody. They can use the park. And I know that's your attitude, and that's the attitude of our team. And so what has been done in the park to make us think, well, maybe we should do something. And I think you mentioned the raw food, and there was one of the speakers mentioned there's food pantries that give folks raw food, and normally those people have kitchens, right? So maybe we should talk about not giving unprepared foods. Like if you're gonna feed somebody in the park, it shouldn't, you should actually feed them, not provide them with food that's meant to be put in a pantry or cooked in whatever. So if we're going to talk about, I think it might make sense to change it a little bit so that raw food isn't distributed, and heck, probably in any parks, because to the speaker's discussion earlier, food pantries are designed to give, people drive through often and get a box of unprepared food and they take it home because they are struggling for money to pay for groceries and stuff. So I think that might be a change that I could get behind, and I understand the challenges, because I feel the same way a lot of these, probably everybody in this room feels like these are people too, right? And if somebody is having that birthday party, I don't think we're going to crack down on birthday parties regardless of what happens today, or family reunions or whatever. We're talking about folks that the people that are preparing the food don't know, right? And that's how it's different than that, I think. If you rent the big gazebo for 50 people and you invite train connoisseurs to come and check out the little train, and you have food for everybody there, that's not the same as what we're talking about. But if somebody is having a birthday party and they see a guy that clearly is hungry and is struggling or whatever, and they go over and say, hey, we got a couple burgers left over and some cake, and we give it to him, nobody's going to give that guy a hard time, or anybody there a hard time, whether this is in place or not. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. I tell you, Mr. Mayor, my chief and I have talked about this, and I've got a statement here. If you don't mind, I'll kind of read it to you.
Yeah.
We have no intent on being the food police whatsoever, or arresting folks for handing out sandwiches, to your exact point. We want to educate those with good intentions on how and where they should go, and educate those in need where they could go in order to find consistent food and sustenance. That's kind of what this is designed to do. So even prepared food, we don't know where it was prepared. You mentioned our community, right? We've had a few instances, but there's a lot of communities around this country that have had some very significant issues with public feedings. One out of California, a gentleman was arrested for poisoning the food he handed out to the homeless. He did some jail time for that. So there are other reasons around the country for this proposed ordinance.
All right, that's all I have for right now. Commissioner Holk, thank you.
Again, also, thank you all for the great job that you have done and the changes that you've made for us. But it's still something that I'm like, my heart is torn in two different directions with this. I am on the COC board, so been an active member there for 10 years, so I've heard a lot of different variations of these scenarios. But so, most of my questions have been answered, but how many incidences have we actually had at the park with this type of situation?
I believe Krista is here, our Recreation, Parks, and Arts Director, so perhaps she could come up and address that question, Commissioner Hoke.
Thank you.
Yes, we've only had a handful of instances over the last few years where this has been an issue. It's really trying to move forward to assure that it doesn't happen in the future, where we have parameters in place if there is an event that they would like to be distributing food.
Okay, and what were the issues that brought this all about?
There is the one situation that has been talked about where there was the raw meat. The other situation I know we had where we called the police department on one occasion where there was a large group that came out. They had advertised that they would be doing a barbecue, and we had a couple hundred people out in the park that they were actually distributing. If we're not aware of those situations, we don't have the proper avenues in place with PD and fire to have large groups in the park.
I had one more thing, and it just like... okay, that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Holmes.
Ryan, within 10 miles of this building, how many places can you go to get a free meal? Not counting restaurants.
I can tell you right now, there's 2 feeding sites in Clearwater. I'm not sure exactly the address, but in the Homeless Leadership Alliance's Homeless Guide, there are a bunch within 10 miles of Largo. Somebody mentioned the cold weather shelter as well. Safe Harbor is literally feet outside of our jurisdiction where they're able to get food, services, shelter.
Well, Station 40, they're outside of our service area. So I'm seriously, how many do you think there is? Just take a guess.
If I could guess, probably, I mean, are we including like food banks, or are we including like prepared meal
Well, no, we're
sites?
just talking about prepared food. You know, if someone wants to go in, they're homeless, they're hungry, they can't cook their food, obviously. Where can they go to get a meal?
The 2 main feeding sites are in Clearwater, and then of course Safe Harbor. So I'd say there's 3 or 4 in the in the general vicinity
So
that I
actually,
can name off the top of my head. I don't,
South of here, you're kind of out of luck. You got to, I guess there's what, Vincent de Paul up there in Clearwater?
Yeah, and then there's St. Vincent de Paul in St. Petersburg, and there's numerous other ones in the county. I just couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. I don't want to misspeak.
Okay, because it's, the more you talk about this thing, both sides have an equal argument about it. You got the person, the family who wants to use Central Park, and we just say, there's only a couple of parks in all the city of Largo. Please don't use them. You could use all the rest of them. No problem about it. But you made a comment, and I was going to write it down, and I couldn't write fast enough, that the permit for a gathering of over 20, there's no charge for it, et cetera, for this group, is what you said. And I'm going, well, what group would be paying a fee?
I think what I was referring to there, Vice Mayor Holmes, was that we do have requirements for special event permits if a business is, for instance, having a grand opening celebration and they would like to have some flexibility in terms of the city sign regulations. So we do have that process available to our businesses so that they can appropriately advertise grand openings or special events where they might also be trying to invite members of the general public to their business.
Okay. Let me give you a scenario. What would, let's say, Uncle Bubba and his barbecue restaurant in town, and he wants to set up something in Central Park where he's just going to give free food out to all takers. Doesn't have to be homeless or anything else, just anybody who wants to come get some free food. Would he have to get a permit for that?
Well, the proposed ordinance that's in front of you right now would not permit that at Largo Central Park, but would permit it at 10 other parks in the city, depending on the number of individuals that they were planning to serve. So if he was planning to serve, 20 or less, then they would not need a permit. But if they were going to serve 20 or more, then they would need we're proposing this special event permit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
I thank you. This is my third go-around on this, and again, I'm a no. As I've said in the past, I have some hesitations. I definitely have a problem with bringing language at the last moment. This I definitely cannot accept at the moment going through it. On certain things, I follow my faith and my heart kind of guide me on this one, and that's why I've kind of been a no on this, and I thank our partners and everybody who came to speak, and staff. I know we kind of threw you guys a curveball many times on this one. It's come back and forth, and I appreciate everything y'all and our partners have done to kind of guide what we've wanted y'all to do. But again, I still think this is the wrong direction we're going. I get the idea that we're going after we want to not go after the providers, educate them. I don't think an ordinance would do that. I think more like if something's happening, you educate. Hey, and I think a lot of these providers, in my heart, I think, and I hope, that they would take it to if an officer or park staff came and said, hey, this is something we don't really want to be happening in the park at the moment because X, Y, and Z. Could you, it's an issue that comes up. I think most of them would accept it a little bit. The part about educating, I think like the people we want to get assistance that are using this, as someone who works in a library, I think like what you said, your information's there. I think directing them over to the library to get that assistance instead of always having to go up in a uniform. I will 100% not say I will not see you guys enforcing this and in a bad way. I believe in you and I respect you all. I have a hard time getting my head wrapped around this one. It just doesn't feel good in my heart, and my faith teaches me to be kind and serve as best I can. And Reverend Mike and Pastor King, who was here earlier, were talking about the services they provide, and they want to be partners. Let's be partners with them. Let's be true partners with them, and let's work with them in ways that we can fix some of the issues we have. I think you all, and what you went to DC you've done, I commend you all and thank you. Like I said, I sit in the library and I see this day in and day out from everybody, and it's not just, everybody is on the brink of challenges, and there are those who hit peaks that are very difficult and are looking for aid, and I have a heart, like I said, I have to look into my heart and say that this doesn't feel right. So I will not be supporting this again tonight. So thank you. Sorry if I ran.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
First, I just want to say I think that the faith-based organizations have a huge part to play in this solution. I truly feel that way. And my own kids on Wednesday nights are feeding underfed kids, in a youth group that they meet with every single week, and they're there every week doing this job. But I do think that if you're going to have a regular social service event in our parks, it's reasonable to say we need to have some controls on that. I think we've got it to where it does say it's a social service event, so we don't have to worry about birthday parties, I don't think. I don't think anybody's going to consider those a social service event. And I do think that working with our team, nationally award-winning team that is here to help on this issue, to have a strategy to get people help is smart. I think it's smart for our community to do that. I think we've taken away, I think we've given faith-based organizations plenty of room in this to where we can't even tell you no to have these events. We just have to make sure you're doing them right. I think that's reasonable. I don't think we're asking this. I don't think we're going outside the lines of reasonableness. I don't think you're going to accidentally break the rule more than once, and then you'll have a reasonable ability to color within the lines. And again, I think it's really about making sure we don't have irresponsible actors out there in our community doing things they shouldn't. And again, I've been around churches my whole life, and I absolutely understand that you can get somebody with a great, thinks that something's a great idea, and we're going to go out to Largo Central Park and barbecue for the entire world and put it out there, on blast, but not really think through the other things you need to do to plan for that. And that's what we have our team for, is that we know that if you're going to have 200 people in a park, maybe we have to just have some other plans in place. And I think that's reasonable, right? That's not irresponsible or unreasonable that we would ask people to have a zero fee, automatically approved permit. But you do have to have liability insurance that costs $50 or $150. That's reasonable. As a matter of fact, it's irresponsible not to do it. So I'm a strong yes on this, because I think we have this in the right spot right now. And I think you did a great job, and thank you for listening to the community. And I do appreciate all the people that came and spoke, and absolutely, we've been talking about this quite a bit. And we do care about the homeless. We do want them taken care of. I think everyone up here desperately cares and wants it better. That's why we have money in our budget for these 3 positions, and that's why this city is recognized, and our team's been recognized for doing such a great job on this issue. So I do think we just, we've gotten this in a great spot. I think I appreciate everyone's, coming to the table on this, and thank you for the members of the community and the faith-based community, especially for coming to the table to help us get this right. So thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Any other questions? I had a question about, in listening to Commissioner Johnson, my thought is, if we have that permit process, and the challenge is that Largo Central Park has big events sometimes, right? So during holiday stroll, it wouldn't be a great time to have an event like this. But I think the nature preserves are different, but Largo Central Park, if they went through the same permitting process that with the other 10 possible parks, what would the problem with that be? If somebody wanted to have an event, a social service event to provide food to folks, why not Largo Central Park? I understand nature. I mean, I kind of understand the reason is mostly the programming in Largo Central Park, probably.
I can speak on behalf of that. At Largo Central Park, the reason we initially excluded that is because of it being the busiest park, the number of children that are in there, and currently the only events that are happening in Largo Central Park are either city-sponsored or co-sponsored events that they go through the application process, and we partner with them to hold the event. We don't allow companies to come in and do private events in Largo Central Park just due to the busyness of the park.
Okay.
So we're not singling out anybody, it's just.
Correct.
I move to deny ordinance number 2024-47 on second and final reading.
Second. So I have a motion and a second to deny. Could you pull any further discussion? Could you pull the board?
So is your vote to have the deny, that an affirmation would be yes to deny, or is it a vote no?
A yes would be to deny the ordinance.
Okay.
A yes would be to deny the ordinance, because the motion was to deny the ordinance.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
No.
Commissioner DeBreezy?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Lauser?
Yes.
Commissioner Hulk?
I'm confused.
Yes is denied. Yes denied, no is a.
Commissioner Hulk?
Yes is denied. Why am I not grasping this? I'm sorry.
It's coming from me, so.
Yes, to vote against the proposal.
You
And
vote
no
it
is
down.
to, basically deny the,
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
so-
no passes it, yes denies it.
Well,
Well, no, it doesn't pass.
wait, no doesn't pass it.
No passes it.
No, give
No
it a
is,
chance to
you would
pass.
vote no if you're in favor of the ordinance, and yes if you're against the ordinance.
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Okay, motion carries 4-3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for all our partners here tonight, regardless of the vote, yes or no, I would like you guys to all partner with us. So make sure you get a hold of us and let's work together, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we'll certainly continue to work to make sure that, you know, we're working on the right path and everybody's heard, including families that use the park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is ordinance number 2025-01.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. The item before you is a comprehensive development code amendment to execute the Housing for All initiative. The amendment was approved on first reading by the City Commission on November 19th, 2024, with one amendment. Since the first reading, staff has incorporated this amendment to the proposed code changes. Staff amended the proposed section 16.14 regarding accessory dwelling units to allow them on residential properties with single-family homes and small-type housing developments, except for cottage courts. Additionally, staff added the word quadplex to the small-type housing category in Table 6.1 due to Scrivener's error. No other changes have been made since the first reading, and staff recommends approval of ordinance number 2025-01. Thank you, and staff is available for questions.
Ordinance number 2025-01, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Development Code by amending subsections 3.2, 3.3.1, 3.3.2, 3.4.1, and 3.4.2 to classify residential developments within the tiered development review system, subsections 3.5.1 and 3.5.2, to provide administrative modification of principal building setbacks for properties adjacent to an unimproved alley and building width standards for small type and medium type housing, subsection 4.5.3, eliminating certain compatibility criteria for comprehensive plan amendments, subsection 6.2, amending classifications of allowable uses within land use classifications, subsection 7.1.1, 7.2.3A, and 7.2.4A, eliminating certain use restrictions and use characteristics applicable to community redevelopment districts, subsection 7.6, cross-referencing use density and intensity restrictions for certain overlay districts, subsections 8.2.3, 8.2.4, 8.2.6, Table 8.1, 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5, updating definitions of density and intensity as applied to residential equivalents and providing for infill, setback, and height standards, subsection 8.6, renumbered 8.7 to classify small type and medium type housing as multifamily in the parkland and recreation facilities impact fee table, subsection 8.7, renumbered to 8.8 for code reference consistency, subsection 9.2.4 and 9.5.1b to provide for internal consistency, subsection 14.1.3 adding small type and medium type housing as eligible for affordable housing development designation, subsections 15.2, 15.3, and 15.4 related to supplemental development standards for residential care and treatment facilities, manufactured homes, and seasonal RV parks, subsection 15.6.3, updating an illustration of the application of Table 6-1 for accessory uses to religious institutions, eliminating subsection 15.7.1 and providing for accessory dwelling units in a new section, renaming Chapter 16 to accessory uses and structures, amending subsections 16.1, 16.5, and 16.8, updating standards of certain accessory uses, subsection 17.1.2, updating the definition of a nonconforming structure to include a manufactured home meeting certain criteria, amending Table 9-2 to provide for parking requirements applicable to accessory dwelling units, and updating certain defined terms in Chapter 20 to correspond with the proposed amendments by repealing and consolidating subsections 15.1 relating to duplex and triplex standards and 15.7.6 related to single-family developments attached in the community redevelopment districts by creating subsections 8.6 providing standards and a bonus for small type and medium type housing, 8.9 clarifying available bonuses, 15.23 providing standards regarding tiny houses, and 16.14 establishing citywide standards for accessory dwelling units, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Any cards from the,
I have no cards.
thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, could you have her read that again?
Twice.
Just quickly. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion, but before we get there, I'm just going to thank the staff for working so hard on this. This has been an important priority for this commission for several years now, and I know that there was a lot of work that went into this, from public engagement to consultant work to staff work and commission work and input from a lot of different, I'm not going to use the word stakeholders, but a lot of different groups of folks, and certainly think that it's going to be really good for our city. It's going to help to solve from the other direction some of these issues that we're talking about tonight. So thank you for all your work.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-01 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Unless Diane wants to read it.
Thank you.
No, thanks.
Next up is resolution number 2415.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Resolution 2415, 16, and 17 are all for the different sub-grant agreements with the Florida Division of Emergency Management for the 3 different storms that occurred since August. So the first one, 2415, is for Debbie, and then we have Helene and Milton. So this is a traditional agreement. You've seen it, unfortunately, probably every year with the storms that we've had in the past. And what this does is gives the city manager the authority to sign and enter into the agreement, and then request a delegation for city manager or a designee to sign additional agreements. So the commission packet does have the agenda memo, which talks about the amounts that we've looked at to date versus what we have in the resolution. So, we're still working with the Florida Division of Emergency Management as well as FEMA on eligible costs for the grant. So I'm gonna send this here. So we just wanted to give kind of a high-level overview of some of the things that we've identified, as well as what is eligible and what's not eligible. And with FEMA, there's different categories of emergency work, being debris removal and emergency protective measures. And what that consists of for emergency protective measures is generally immediately preceding the storm and right after. And for the different storms, they do decide on different federal cost shares. So as you'll notice with Hurricane Debbie, it's a 75% federal cost share. The state and local cost share is 25%, meaning that the state would pay 12.5% and we would do 12.5%. So it's different for the different storms. Actually today for Milton, they just increased the debris 100% federal cost share to 120 days from 90 days. I just received the information today that happened. So there's different other categories of work, permanent work, and we have a longer deadline to complete those activities. It's 18 months, so we do have some trees that uprooted, sidewalks and roads, and some road washouts, so those things would fall under category C. Lift station damages, public utilities, a lot of damages within our parks. So all those are listed there, the different types of things that are eligible. And then there's also direct administrative costs, which are up to 5% of the total claim, and that's what the costs actually are for putting the claim together. So our assistant risk manager is working on this every day. I'm working on it every day, so we're tracking time to cost for direct administrative costs. So there are some things that are ineligible, including fuel, because we are allowed to claim the cost of the use of the equipment that we use as opposed to fuel, loss of revenue, loss of useful life of an asset, and the other things that are listed here as well. So as I mentioned, with emergency protective measures, only overtime is an eligible item. So the other overtime and unbudgeted time, if you will. So any time that people reallocated from doing their normal day job to evacuating, that doesn't count unless it hits into an overtime status. And as well as costs that are covered by insurance. And for the city, we do have a 5% deductible for our building costs. So a lot of times the amount doesn't hit above that deductible. So just high-level storm specifics, and I'm just going to go through all 3 of them now. For Hurricane Debbie, we had identified 4 vehicles with various equipment that were approximately $132,000.
We had a golf course bridge washout. Our overtime costs for, it started out as Tropical Storm Debbie and quickly turned into Hurricane Debbie, but our overtime costs were only about $25,000. And this always depends on when the winds are picking up, when we have staff come in, what day of the week does it occur on, all the different factors make for different overtime costs. So the total amount that we'd identified at the time of putting in the application was around $250,000. Again, the resolution is so that we have that authorization from the commission. That's listed at $400,000. If the claim goes above that, I will come back and bring another resolution. We wouldn't want to leave anything on the table. So going into some of the things that we know with regards to this would be resolution 2416, but Hurricane Helene, we did have a lot of damage over at the wastewater reclamation facility, as well as the collection system. So there's just some of the things that are listed here. Electrical control panel damage, sample pumps, battery backups, all those types of things. We also had some of our individual buildings that were damaged, Fire Station 39, Bayhead, and again, this is Helene, so we only had a 14-day period to get these things identified, documented, and then kind of gear up again for Milton. So the cost of the property and equipment above, we don't know the exact cost right now. We're still working on that. But the overtime costs for this storm were about $300,000. Debris removal costs as well. There's overlapping projects. So the incident period for Milton starts on October 5th. So that's our cutoff date for picking up debris and claiming it on the Helene. We're tracking everything, and we're working with the program delivery manager from FEMA to say which claim does it go on, basically. But we did, with our new ERP system in place, we do have a methodology of tracking time. So we ask our city team members to tag their time with the storm, whether it's overtime or regular, so we're aware, and they don't have to decide if it's eligible or not. And the people that are reviewing the grant project can decide. So that being said, we have straight time that at least the people that remember to tag it on their regular hours of at least $270,000 that is not eligible, but again, it's not money that was unbudgeted during the fiscal year. And then we spent about $32,000 on gearing up on fuel and gassing up at gas stations, just getting ready. So those are the things that would be ineligible. So any questions so far? I'm kind of going through them a little fast. So the big one would be Hurricane Milton, and this one there is a lot of to be determines. However, we're only about 60 some days out from this storm event, but we've identified 10 different areas of right-of-way damages. So these are mostly uprooted trees, sidewalks that tore out the road. So those, our engineering department put together estimates of about 100,000. We have building damages with flooding. We had I think a fire station, Performing Arts Center, City Hall, where we had some mitigation and flood, not flood, but water intrusion. So we had mold remediation done there. So there's some costs there. I have an enormous list of recreation parks and buildings that have small damages to dumpster enclosures, fences, tennis courts, but that's to be determined. And then the overtime costs for this event, especially since it was supposed to be so big and with the gearing up, is around $1.75 million. Again, all of this is eligible, so we are working with our program delivery manager to make sure that all the documentation is in place to apply for those funds as reimbursement. We've also are working on substantial damage assessments. We've hired Tetra Tech as a contractor to go out and help do those 50% assessments. So the estimate on that contract was $1.8 million. And then we had 5 vehicles that were total losses and 14 vehicles damaged for $220,000. Which continued. What we did for Milton is we were working with our debris monitoring company on estimates and doing an expedited project. So what they had estimated based on our time frame, the number of people working, and average hourly rate was our staff costs for debris removal would be about $1 million. The monitoring costs are listed there too, $3.25 million. There's hauling and disposal costs of 1.6, and then supplies and our equipment use over the course of the entire time of about $1 million. So those things added up to about $11 million on the previous slide. So that's why with the Milton ordinance, it says 12 million is what we're asking for the resolution for. So in here, we had, again, we're able to identify some of the things that we weren't eligible to claim, and $662,000 of emergency protective measures, straight time, so anybody just shifting their activities. And then fuel costs were less. We had just fueled up for Helene, so this one was a little bit less for what we actually charged there. So there's a little bit different between Debbie and Helene and Milton for next steps. You know, as I mentioned, we're working with what's called the program delivery manager. Lucky for us, it's the same person for all 3 events, so we're not individually supplying documentation to 3 different FEMA reps. But what we'll do is finish our application for the project. It will go through the Consolidated Resource Center through FEMA. Then we get obligated for the funds. The state, since they're actually the recipient or the subrecipient, will do whatever type of audit they determine to do, and then there will be a release of reimbursement funds. For Debbie, we are almost completed with getting that project filed. Obviously, Helene is a little bit further on, and Milton is still occurring, so we're working through those. The difference with Milton is that we did file an application for an expedited project, which would allow us to give up estimates on the debris removal side up front and be able to draw down up to 50% of the total cost of that. So that way, you know, our total costs right now estimated by our monitoring company are about $5.8 million for just the debris removal side. So this would allow us to draw down about $2.9 million in the solid waste fund, and another fund won't have to supplement in the meantime to pay for those costs. And then again, it will still go through the audit, all of the same processes afterwards, and then the additional amount would be released at that time. So with that being said, again, this isn't a final complete project for any of these things. We are still working on them, but I'm available for any questions. We also have representatives from Public Works here as well.
Resolution number 2415, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, delegating to the city manager of the City of Largo the authority to legally bind the City of Largo for the sole purpose of requesting federal reimbursement concerning assistance for the recovery from Hurricane Debbie by entering into a federally funded subaward, grant agreement, and subsequent grant agreement amendments with the Florida Division of Emergency Management without further authorization from the Commission up to a maximum aggregate amount of $400,000, repealing all resolutions in conflict and establishing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on any of these?
We do not.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
I move to approve resolution number 2415.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 2416, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, delegating to the city manager of the City of Largo the authority to legally bind the City of Largo for the sole purpose of requesting federal reimbursement concerning assistance for the recovery from Hurricane Helene by entering into a federally funded subaward, grant agreement, and subsequent grant agreement amendments with the Florida Division of Emergency Management without further authorization from the Commission up to a maximum aggregate amount of $1 million, repealing all resolutions in conflict and establishing an effective date.
I move to approve resolution number 2416.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 2417, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, delegating to the city manager of the City of Largo the authority to legally bind the City of Largo for the sole purpose of requesting federal reimbursement concerning assistance for the recovery from Hurricane Milton by entering into a federally funded subaward, grant agreement, and subsequent grant agreement amendments with the Florida Division of Emergency Management without further authorization from the Commission up to a maximum aggregate amount of $12 million, repealing all resolutions in conflict and establishing an effective date.
I move to approve resolution number 2417.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
John, did you get the money yet?
It's on the way.
Oh, it's on the way. Checks in the mail.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My insurance.
Next up is an informational item about the American Rescue Plan Act program and the status update on that.
right, good evening, Mayor and Commission. Thank you for having myself and Mecca Surfacini tonight. We're excited to be here to give an update on our American Rescue Plan program. And 1 second, we want to go ahead and get our presentation pulled up. All right. So we are here with a status update on our American Rescue Plan funds and program, but also to take a moment to celebrate the fact that we have reached a milestone in the project and we are really in a great place. Amid the news you might see out there about communities with funds that aren't obligated and not being able to get them used, we're not one of those communities. So as we're approaching this December 31st obligation deadline, we're really pleased that all of our funds have been obligated to eligible projects. Those projects are underway or complete. While we have obligated slightly more than the total grant amount, we have some contingencies planned for that, and that enables any savings that might occur on a project in those contingencies over the next 2 years, again, to not be returned and make sure we're maximizing every dollar that we receive through this program. And at the end of the day, all of the projects, and Mecca's going to go over them, are really a lot of wonderful high-value projects for our community that were really thoughtful, and this commission gave us guidance to move forward with a few years ago when these funds became available. So we're very excited with where we are at this milestone. We're going to provide a little background and overview of those projects and then what the next phase of this program looks like. Also want to take a minute to recognize that we would not be here without a lot of hard work of departments across the city. So in addition to our regularly scheduled capital projects and operating projects, this funding and the projects included as part of it meant that engineering, public works, recreation, parks and arts, community development all had additional projects to tackle on some tight spending deadlines, as well as some unique procurement processes to go through. Mecca here wore both dual hats as procurement and contracts manager and our ARPA grant manager. And that's why she's going to be providing a lot of the background. She has really helped shepherd this through, so it was thanks to a lot of work from team members across the organization that we're here today. So with that, I'll let Mecca give some background and an overview.
Thank you, Will. All right, so we'll first quickly review what the ARPA grant was and how the city intended to use it. ARPA stands for the American Rescue Plan Act, which was passed by Congress in March of 2021 as part of the COVID-19 federal recovery efforts. The city of Largo was awarded $12.9 million without any kind of cost match requirement, but we were given a limited 7 categories that we could spend this money on and a very strict timeline for obligating and expending these funds. So Largo received our funds in the summer of 2021. Once we had a good understanding of the requirements and the limitations, we identified our projects through a 3-pronged approach. We reached out to the community through multiple means to gauge what they felt was most important. Then a committee of staff was formed to evaluate how we could address these needs. And finally, our city commissioners reviewed and ranked the projects for a final consideration. This resulted in the identification of 6 service-driven projects, 5 capital infrastructure projects, and 3 plans to be developed. It was also decided at that time that a portion of the funds would be dedicated to the administration of the grant to ensure we were staying within the parameters set by the federal government. This includes the use and timeline restrictions previously mentioned, as well as all of the regular uniform regulations that come with any set of federal funding. So we'll now take a look at the progress that's been made on all of these initiatives. So here we have 5 service-driven projects. With these projects, we have established a communication link between city staff and our community members. We've addressed homelessness through the unit restructuring and partnership with a local shelter and case management provider. We joined the Sheriff's Mental Health Unit to provide our residents with additional resources. We started a thriving free hotspot rental program through our public library, and we administered 31 grants to nonprofit organizations that provide our residents with basic necessities. The grant administration funds not only paid for our initial grant management and compliance needs, but has also assisted our departments with the capacity needed to manage so many large projects in such a short amount of time. We have been able to put 12 contractors to work on our 5 capital projects. At Southwest Recreation Center, we have designed and started construction on a new swimming pool and dive tower, as well as a full renovation of the current bathhouse. Highland Recreation received a full building generator to be a more resilient asset for our community. And at Largo Central Park, we are in the process of adding a new public restroom building. The Central Park Performing Arts Center has received a new seating chamber, 2 new HVAC systems, new floors, a new ceiling, and is in the process of getting new accoutrements. In addition to all of these parks and arts projects, our stormwater team was able to complete the entire phase 1 of our stormwater asset inventory process. Also, through the use of these ARPA funds, the city was able to develop 3 major roadmaps needed for the future of Largo. The Missing Middle and Mobile Home Park Transition Plan addresses the changing housing needs of our community as a whole. And the Clearwater-Largo Road CRD Plan will steer the long-term growth of the Clearwater-Largo Road District. Both of these plans are being managed by the Community Development Department. Our third plan is the Sustainability and Resilience Action Plan. This plan builds upon and starts the next chapter of our Largo Environmental Action Plan. Our Office of Performance and Budget manages the execution of this roadmap. With that, I will turn the presentation back over to Will to provide a financial overview.
Thank you, Becca. So as you can see, we've got a number of really substantive and exciting projects, either complete or in progress for our community. So as we outlined, we received $12.9 million as part of the American Rescue Plan Act. Those funds also accrued interest until they were spent. So our goal approaching this obligation deadline at the end of the day was to leave no American Rescue Plan funds unspent at the conclusion of the program. Now, one of the challenges there was with some of these capital projects, we have contingencies which are unknowns, but we needed to make sure we had everything obligated at the end of December this month. So our strategies here were to make sure we were able to cover those contract contingencies with alternative fund balances should we need them, as well as conduct some program evaluations over the coming year to migrate any ongoing expenses in discussion with the City Commission to appropriate permanent funds. So as you can see, our total funds and our contract totals, when you add in our contingencies, we have over obligated that total amount a little bit, but we have identified that we have fund balances from our Penny for Pinellas and Parkland Impact Fee Fund to cover any overages in those project contingencies, particularly related to the pool or the bathhouse if they came up. So we have funding sources available for those contingencies. But again, if we would have obligated only up to those contingent amounts and then not utilized them, we would have had to return those funds. So with that, over the next 2 years, our plan is to continue to monitor, get these projects through to completion. If there are any contingency savings, those will just return back to us. If we realize those full contingency costs on any of those obligated or encumbered projects, we'll bring forward a budget amendment to you to use any fund balance from the Penny for Pinellas or Parkland Impact Fee Fund for those capital project contingencies if the need is there. And again, we have until December 31st, 2026 to fully expend all of that money. And because we're so far along on many of our projects, we feel pretty good about being able to meet that deadline. So with that, we're available for any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? I guess not. You did a great job.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
At least you know how to spend money.
I will now recess the City Commission meeting to convene the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting for one item. Item number 21.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Mark Richard from Economic Development Department. For the new faces I'm seeing here tonight, good evening. The purpose of this meeting tonight is to request the approval. Let's see if I just advance this. Maybe I'll start that for me. To request the approval of the Housing Infill Program Grant Incentive Agreement with Shady Dell Holdings LLC for the Largo Vista Apartment Project. The new project is located at, okay, so let me start over. Okay, so for the project located at 263 First Street Northwest, to kind of get a sense of proximity there, it is located in downtown Largo between Woodrow Avenue, 3rd Street Northwest, 1st Avenue Northwest, and it's just south of Woodrow Park. For the new commissioners, just wanted to kind of briefly insert the Housing Improvement Program Grant Incentive Program is, its purpose is to incentivize the development of more or less market rate housing, and as well as the jobs that follow those rooftops, so to speak, into the CRD, the Community Redevelopment District, using Community Redevelopment Agency funds. So the development consists of 79 units in a 5-story configuration, multifamily development with an estimated 85 parking stalls, at least the way it's configured in the preliminary state. A little bit of history here. On June 24th, 2024, the Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board, otherwise known as the CRAB Board, voted unanimously in favor of recommending that the Community Redevelopment Agency Board, this board this evening, approve an incentive request package for the Housing Infill Program grant for the applicant on behalf of their project, the Largo Vista Apartments, located on West Bay Drive, in the West Bay Drive Community Redevelopment District. Then at the August 20th, 2024 commission meeting, in your capacity as Community Redevelopment Agency, the previous commission voted to approve the Housing Infill Program grant incentive in the amount of $250,000, which equates to $7,352.94 for each of the 34 qualifying units for the development of the Largo Vista Apartments, and authorized staff to enter into negotiations for an agreement. And when I say qualifying units, that's described in the ordinance as any unit that is 800 square feet or greater. The agreement before you has been prepared by our city attorney for the approval of the Community Redevelopment Agency Board, and the HIP, or Housing Infill Program grant funds, in the amount of $250,000 have been scheduled for the CRA 2025 and 2026 fiscal year budgets. Should the Community Redevelopment Agency approve the agreement, the grant for the qualifying units will be paid out. I don't think I've been keeping up with my slides. My apologies. Make sure I'm on the... All right, I was on the right slide. My apologies. Should the Community Redevelopment Agency approve the agreement, the grant for the qualifying units will be paid out as a reimbursement in the form of 4 payments upon completion of construction milestones, as you see there on the slide. The project is currently under site plan review, and all financing for the project is in place, including a combination of private and traditional financing. So the project will contain 16 affordable units measured at 120 AMI. Just for your background, not associated with this grant, but just that's usually a good question that is asked. The project will also feature a 130 kilowatt solar power system, as well as an electric vehicle charging station with a capacity to add an additional one, undergrounding of the adjacent power, and kind of a hotel-style central heating and air conditioning system, similar to the way the developer has completed on a separate project, and has been proven very successful and economical, both for the project as well as the tenants. The Community Development Department, Engineering, and the Parks Department worked in collaboration to help facilitate an agreement with the developer to access the city's regional stormwater system that is actually halfway up Woodrow Avenue, by providing an easement through Woodrow Park. I've attempted to illustrate that with this very crude drawing and the red line going across the map. Here's just a rendering, an artistic rendering, the latest one I have for the project, as again it's moving through site approval. And that completes my presentation. I welcome any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any cards?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the commission?
It was a lovely red line.
Thank you, sir.
So just for the sake of discussion,
Yeah.
can you tell us, in case, I'm sure that the new commissioners probably know this, but tell us where that TIF money, where the financing money comes from, or the TIF money?
Yes, so the state allows us to create CRAs, or community redevelopment areas and agencies, within which we can use certain tools to help incentivize economic growth and development to both address what is identified as kind of areas of poverty, so addressing lower incomes by typically in the area of housing, economic development, and oftentimes public safety. So what ends up happening in that, for instance, we have two districts in the city of Largo. We have the West Bay Drive district, and then we also have the Clearwater Largo Road district. The West Bay Drive district is currently the only one that actually has this funding mechanism called a tax increment finance tool as a component of the enabling legislation, if you will, at the local level. And year one of the establishment of the district is what is created, what we call a baseline, which is where we essentially snap a line and we say, okay, here's the tax revenue that's coming in, the property tax or ad valorem tax that's coming in at this time. And then any growth in that tax over time as time goes on is what's called the increment. So the existing tax revenue that was coming in the year 2000 continues to come into city government and continues to come into the other taxing districts to pay for necessities of government. It's that increment that we're able to use and set aside into a separate trust account that you all administer in this board capacity to direct towards essentially the priorities of the CRA. And I'll just add, one of the things you're going to be seeing here in the springtime is the second district, the Clearwater Largo Road district, as I mentioned or kind of alluded to, doesn't have a tax increment finance tool. Your staff is currently in the process of updating the plan for that district. We also have received the county's permission to be able to study and analyze the ability to expand that district. And we've had preliminary discussions. I'm sure they anticipate that we will once again come back to them and ask them to partner with us in the formation of a tax increment finance tool. Because keep in mind that tax revenue is a partnership between the county's portion of the tax revenue increment as well as the city's increment. So hope that helps. Please fire away if you have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. A very good explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say that these are generally on a timeline. Like, we expect them to end at some point. So it's,
yes.
You focus on that area, invest in that area, and then eventually it gets kind of self-replicating, and we no longer need a TIF, and that's a successful
Right.
story. And I think we're getting to that point in downtown. We were hit with the 2008 housing recession that made that number go back to zero, I think.
Yes, yes.
So it's good to see projects like this that are that are aligned with our goals and able to take advantage of that TIP fund.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions?
I move to approve the Housing Infill Program Grant Incentive Agreement with Shady Dell Holding LLC for the Largo Vista Apartment Project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Now, the CRA meeting is now adjourned, and we'll reconvene as a city commission for items from the dais. Mr. Zimmett.
I don't have anything tonight, other than to say happy holidays.
Thank you. Mr. DeBreeze.
Thank you. Quite the honor for the homeless outreach team. It's of particular interest to me as a social service executive to see their efforts in outreach and intervention. So very proud of them, and congratulations to them. And as Mr. Zimmett said, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you. Commissioner Lauser.
Yeah, big congratulations to the homeless outreach team, and also a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. We won't see you till 2025. I did want to ask a question. So during the, and thank all the citizens for the spirited comments and discussion. During the comments, Pastor Carter from Victory Fellowship mentioned some zoning issues that were preventing him from housing some people. And that I was wondering if we could actually follow up with that and find out if some of those fit into some of our new zoning issues under the resolution or ordinance that passed tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think there are some things in there that will help in that.
Good evening again, Cheryl Reed, Community Development Director. Yes, in the Housing for All code amendments that you just adopted, there may in fact be some additional relief that may be useful to organizations such as that, and to that organization in particular, we have reached out to them to try to seek to engage. What we are finding is sometimes these church facilities do have former school classrooms that were maybe used for Sunday school types of uses, and so they do have some spare space. Obviously, again, we want to work very closely with them to understand what kind of housing they're looking to provide potentially and what kind of services they want to provide on site, and we'll be working closely with our fire department also to ensure that the properties are potentially redeveloped in a safe way.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Commissioner Holt.
Yes, ditto to our homeless outreach team. Nothing short of amazing. So proud of all of them. Our staff, thank you for another fantastic year. You guys just every year just never cease to amaze all of us up here. Your due diligence and your stamina and your all the things that you bring to us. Other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a blessed New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you to our team, of course, and it has been an amazing year, and so thank you to all your efforts. Special shout out to my son Jeremy and his wife Caroline. They welcomed my fourth little grandbaby into the world night before last. I have not met her yet. I'm hoping tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. And I found out that another one of my daughters is expecting her first. So the Johnson family is multiplying. We're being blessed for sure. So 6 kids and 5 grandkids so far.
You say you meet her tonight?
Huh? Yeah, I haven't met her yet. So looking forward to it. So thank you again, and that's all I've got.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith.
I thank everybody for coming out to speak tonight. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. I do have a question that maybe City Manager Kirk will maybe talk a little bit more about the meeting that was with the McKay Creek. I was unfortunately I wasn't able to attend yesterday. I know some of those residents feel that we have neglected them. I will tell you this commission definitely does not we care. I definitely do. There are things that we are trying to do, and there are things that we just cannot, unfortunately financially, and what we cannot get into. I deeply feel, like I said before, when we were collecting the debris, my heart goes out to people when their whole life was sitting out on the curb. And it sits there for a while. It kicks you in the gut every day. But like I said, we do care about you. Don't the media, whatever is there. Again, Mr. Kerp, if you could talk a little bit about what we're doing and what was there at the meeting, I would appreciate that. And with that, Happy New Year. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Holmes.
Wow. Have a good Christmas, happy Hanukkah, New Year's, etc. If you're traveling out of town for the holidays, don't post it online. There are people who are looking for that so they can come and relieve you of your belongings. So just tell us how wonderful it was when you get back. But anyway, have a good, safe trip. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to make mine brief because we got to get Commissioner Johnson out of here. So, there's a parade on Saturday in downtown. Come see the parade. It's at noon downtown. Other than that, congratulations to the team here, the homeless outreach team. They do great work. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all that. Thank you, Mr. Kirk.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to just inform the commission and the community, we've had probably 6 or 7 public meetings since Milton hit to help and aid our residents recover from the storm. So we focused on doing it on neighborhood by neighborhood so we could respond to specific needs that are unique to each event and to each community. And those meetings have been met with mostly positive feedback for our responsiveness of our city teams, debris collection, our building department, which has gone above and beyond to try to help people get information, get their permits, and get building back. We did have a meeting, and as I reiterated, with the residents of McKay Creek and with residents that live on Church Creek. We're here, we're on your team, we're on your side. We're here to help. And we will continue to be available to residents throughout the entire community. If you need more information, please contact the city. We are doing one-on-one meetings with residents who've been affected by the storm to help them, again, get as much information as possible. We continue to focus our resources on how to best recover from the storm. And this city has invested a great deal of resources and infrastructure to prepare our community for events like this. Unfortunately, the events of Helene and Milton and beyond that, Debbie, were extraordinary for this region. We saw rainfall up to 17 inches in 24 hours. And unfortunately, very little of our infrastructure is prepared for that type of event. And that's not unique. It's a question of what it would cost to build out the infrastructure necessary to handle 17 inches of rain in 24 hours. So I'm frustrated with those residents who feel like that they really have nowhere to go. We're here, we'll continue to help them, and we'll continue to look at what we can do in the future, both as a local government, but also partnering with the county and the state and the federal government to continue to provide for more resilient assets within our city infrastructure.
Thank you. Any action items?
The only one I had was Commissioner Lauser's request that staff follow up on the zoning issues raised by one of the speakers. Did you feel like Ms. Reed answered your questions?
Yeah, she said they've already followed it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.